Okay. Options. Yeah, I have just been playing with the ICS sending to see how it went inside a what do they call it? A console program. It's quite interesting how that all sort of works. So yeah, I sort of ripped out bits from the viewing one and the console demo, and then put a wrap around it. So this is my main program.
Well, can you go up the size in the font, please?
Yeah, I think. Something, yeah, okay.
That's getting better. Yeah.
And basically, it's a at the minute it's a single use only program, and this is its main entry point, and it sets up some, well, basically the email message that it's going to send, and yeah, it sets it up, and then it runs it inside a another thread, which the what is it? The ICS one seems to run everything like in a I think I talked about last time. Uses a message handler or message. It's called a message loop in this case, because the message loop is running in its in the background thread, and so it starts off things starts off a like send a bit of data, and then it waits for a an event, so it then starts the next bit of data. So it's quite well, I found it quite different to stuff like I've done before with Indie. Yeah, and so this is where it starts a actually it just sets it up. Yeah, this is, it's basically creates an email task, which is that effectively runs that threaded one. And it just sends it in a thread. And this thread thing. So this thing is all running in a thread, and it just. So to start with, copies all the email information from the main thread and winds up in here. Not totally sure. I think it's okay. And then it calls this thing, which does the setup of the sending of the mail. So it sets this thing up, which is well, actually, this is the main one. It's got like a state machine that can you see that? I guess not.
Hello? Yes.
So in the processing flow, it's sort of sets up
Not interested. Goodbye.
on request done, which is well probably a lot like a state machine, and it sort of goes from a connect to then send a hello or a EHLO, then from hello to mail from, and so it has all these things. I guess I go and go back to the other one. So we go and have a look at this thing. Well, actually, we'll have a brief look at this. And so it sets it all up. Then it basically says connect. And then it goes down and sits in a message loop for the rest of the program. So this is in a thread and it just sits in this loop. And the events cause this function up here to be called the on request done. Okay, let's go and find that. And so once it's had a connect, once the connect has come back, it goes and does either a hello or an EHLO, depending on if there's any authentication. That was the very simple client I have. One of them doesn't like EHLO, so I have to put this in. Then, you know, EHLO thing, it will potentially do a start TLS. And from start TLS, it'll go back to the hello or EHLO and then do an authentication. And then from authentication, it winds up here and does a mail from, then does a receipt to, the next task is receipt to, then data, then quit. And the quit basically sets an end flag and then sends a quit message and tells the message loop to exit. And it all works quite well, it seems.
Where are you sending the mail to? An SMTP server?
Yeah. That's all set in this ini file at this stage. And at the minute, it's all going to 127.0.0.1. So that, yeah, mostly I can play there and not spam the internet. Right. And it's been up. So I just run this. We've done this for the following. But yeah, like all these things, it's so you can sort of see how it's starting this, going to connect, then it gets this when it comes back. And then it does a hello. No.
Oh, can you make the font bigger? Click on the, oh. Thank you.
So, sort of, yeah, it steps through the state machine, and here it's checking that the certificate that's getting matches, or the read certificate is matching the certificate that came back, and what sort of made it was better certificates likes, and yeah. Then it goes through the authentication, which is done inside the SSL, and then sent from to data. And it quits, and it spits it out into this paper cut sender. So this is the email I sent. Yeah, what else can I say about it? At the minute, it's set up for only a single email, so you run it and it makes a single email. I think probably eventually I'd like it to be a DLL and just load it into your program to run that. Partly because the program I want to run it from doesn't have very good SSL, whereas this is running the sort of latest open SSL versions. What else?
When I did this, I didn't have the SSL overlay on it, so which probably made life a bit easier. But following the ICS sample programs, I had it quite well done to sort of lift details out of a database and sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, fire out sequential emails to a whole database list.
Okay.
And in some cases, like dynamically adjusting the text as they went, so that, you know, personalized emails, dear Roger, dear Jeff. And that worked quite well. The side of it I never got to handle on, which I would like to have done. It would have been good to able to do was doing HTML emails, but I never got further than straight text.
Yeah, well, yeah, this one is straight text as well. They have another, yeah, because I'm using ordinary SMTP client with SSL, but they have an HTML one as well, which is has additional properties. But what I found interesting, this one is oftentimes it is sending it one bit at a time. So one of the defaults is you tell it to send your lump text, and it sort of has an event and it reads one line at a time and sends it. And also the attachments, I haven't actually checked, but it opens them as it's ready to send it and send it. I'm not sure if it sends them as a big block or if it sends one sort of line at a time. Like if we have a look at this raw view, it's got a logo in there. And I'm not sure if it sends one of these at a time and then comes back and sends a bit more. Because traditionally everything I've done has been make a big, massive string effectively, or string list, and send that. Whereas this sort of does it piece by piece, which I guess is good for memory, especially if you're sending a big file. Memory is less of a problem these days. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's really, I don't have a great deal more about it. It's yeah.
Have you tried this with Gmail email
Oh, yeah,
destinations?
that was part of the thing. I've booked in the OAuth, or it has an OAuth tool, and I was able to get it to work on this. And that works. So if I go and have a look at what I've booked it into, it also is this one, which is a what do we call that? It's a GUI version, but it uses the same INI settings, so I can see what the INI settings are here. And so if we go and set what I want to do. Authentication. We use OAuth there. Actually, I won't do that because this has a bunch of people I don't really want to start with. This one, I have a it has that all set up. Oh. All right, so this is a, we're going to use an old bearer. And it's going to be a Gmail one. Okay, it's going to my home address. So, and this one here. And we'll just run that one.
Yeah, sorry, the crash was more than what it is now.
So that was one done by Google, and we'll have a look at the INI file. Get rid of that. Save that and run our program again. Yeah, I don't like this bit. Where are we? Oh, okay. I do actually need to turn this into like, because it stalls and I forgot. Let's see, this is the oldest thing that sorry, wants, which I think fine. I'm not super enthused about winding up with a web page because I'm running a command line program. Then I can go there. Continue. And yeah, because it's using SMTP, you get to have all permissions. You don't seem to be able to reduce them at all.
Yeah, when I started doing this, I don't remember the details now because it's years ago. My ISP would not let me send my emails through the website, the ISP SMTP server. And to get around that, I had to sign up with a third-party SMTP service called smtp2go.com. It was $10 a month or something, which in the context of a business I couldn't care about. And I had to pre-register that with my application so they knew that the emails being sent to that SMTP server came from a validated source.
Yeah, yeah, they're all getting more and more tighter on that. Yeah, so this one allows, the OAuth allows you to run a program that is using my sort of setup. It's in this case, they also have that Google has that passwords, and for a command line thing, I'd probably use that password, which is basically a specialized password, and you just use ordinary SMTP. But it's not your main. You have to have, what do I have to get it right? You have to have 2FA on it on your account, and you can make a bunch of these app passwords, and it's designed to go with specific apps. And so if that app breaks or someone gets that password, you can just kill it and generate a new one for your app. Trying to figure out how they got your password out of it. And I think for command line type stuff, that would be better because it's command line type stuff. You're probably running at assorted times when you're not there. And so you don't want that OAuth screen to pop up to no one. And it does seem to periodically pop up, even if you have the session taken. I don't know how long that lasts for. But yeah, so in this image setting, right? If you just plain. This thing here is an app token, an app password. So yeah. I'll run this. If I just do that, I think I did something right. I think I just changed the authentication method back to the plain. So I guess we can just run this one. So if it's plain and then it ignores that big token and it just uses this one, this side. So, I mean, this is all much nicer, but I wanted to see how to get it to work inside a console application, which seems to need a background thread to run it all, which, yeah, but it seems to work quite well. But yeah, so here's your plane, and that's happy enough. And this one is not my password for that account. It's just a semi-throwaway password. So it's, I mean, I think it has more permissions than you might want on it. So yeah, I guess I'll probably throw that away later.
Yeah, that would be the best idea.
Oh, is there any other questions?
So you were talking about the console app. I think you can just use that. There's that message, process message one. I think you can just use those and you'd be able to do it without an extra thread.
Oh, okay.
I believe that's how it works. Anyway.
Well, I guess you've got that message loop and that said you could just run it in the main thread. Instead of just not make the second thread it might work. I'll try that.
Yeah, I've got a GitHub demo of basically doing all OAuth 2 authentication. Set up for the Hotmail and Microsoft authentication and Gmail authentication. So it's pretty simple to do.
Okay, yeah.
They use Indy mostly though.
Yeah, I guess yeah, I was interested in this because it connects into the recent versions of OpenSSL.
Yeah.
There are some I don't know what, oh, well, I haven't looked at it, maybe it's all up to date now.
Oh, there's still, there's a branch for it, but it's still pretty, not much is happening with, Indie these days.
Yeah, so, yeah, well, this just seems to be, moving on. I haven't looked at the last few weeks. But yeah, when I did last look at it, I had to pull down a whole bunch of updates. That changed quite a few things.
It's, so you downloading, because it's in get it.
Well, it's got, what do they call it? It's in, subversion, so.
No,
And you can ask, you can get subversion. But I went up but maybe, yeah, I'm not sure, I remember. I just got 2 or 3 versions in my Git repository, and the ones I've pulled down. Yeah, I don't quite remember how I did that. Maybe I just pulled down the archive and then imported that into my Git thing. So I've got a few of these archives.
yeah, because you can get it anyway.
You can get it straight off Get It, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I realised that. Yeah.
I don't use ICS so much, but I've got a MQTT component that I use, so that's why I know a bit about it.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So, how about a presentation on MQTT?
Well, maybe.
I think that would be a great idea. Now, I saw there's a crowd in Europe, Gridgy, who've got some source code out, open source code as well as their products. And they've written a logging framework, just a simple one that you can use with Android that uses MQTT. And I've always been interested in finding out about it, because you can use it for inter-process communications, can't you?
Well, it's a publish subscribe system, so you basically you have basically a server, and you have clients that connect to the server, and you can publish messages to I can't remember what they call it, but it's basically a URL, and publish the message and then to that URL, so you can have whatever data in it like that you want, and then if you've got a whole heap of clients that are interested in that URL, they'll all get that same message back to them.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a play with it, but I never got very far with it. So
yeah,
be quite intrigued to see how it works and what I was missing at the time.
Okay. And can you put big fees into it? Or,
I think it might be like 65K or something, might be one that I think.
oh, that's reasonable.
I don't know if you really want to spend that much using it. You possibly you'd upload the data somewhere and send the URL or something,
Yeah.
or a notification, just that the data's updated. Because it allows you to get new instant updates of notifications of things, and like you can have one server and thousands of clients connected to it, and you can send one message and it could go out to all of them at once. So if you're sending huge amounts of data, that would slow the bulk of server down pretty significantly.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, probably just putting the data somewhere and telling everything, hey, it's there.
Yeah. They use it in Internet of Things and stuff like that, turning lights on and off and stuff like that.
Uh-huh. Those little power meters. I haven't hooked up to the fridge, which we don't look at very often. Someone along the line got turned off. So that was really sad. We didn't look at the fridge and it got quite warm and it got thrown out. All the stuff in the freezer got thrown out. Some of the Jews about those two sort of things. I was probably on the app when I exited, pushed the wrong button.
Yeah.
Because I never, that's a fridge we look at rarely. So, well, I told you to go a lot. Precedent, like that unit, it's like power measure, anything that's important.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a power measure if it didn't have a switch on it,
Yeah.
but would still record quite. There we go. That's my presentation. So. Anything else?
Thanks, Roger.